Hi folks, Rick here. Welcome to my channel. All right, well today we're going to be installing an early on fan switch. So what this does here is basically going to allow your fan to come on at a lower temperature than the current stock one. The factory one supposedly comes on somewhere around that 225, 230 area. This one's probably going to kick on around 200. Now, I've never had a problem with overheating on my bike. I do ride it in extreme conditions. I race it. But I have installed a high pressure radiator cap, which helps a lot. I put in engine ice, which helps a lot. And I just don't have any problems with it. The fan does come on when I'm racing, obviously, so that means that that temperature is getting up there. And so one of the advantages I've got by owning a Raptor is it's super reliable. And so anything I can do there to keep it more reliable, the better. And so putting on an early on fan switch is going to allow the engine to run cooler, and that's just going to make the bike run better. It's going to last longer, the whole 9 yards. So with that, let's go ahead in here and I'll get repositioned. We'll take a look and see what's in this bag. All right, so I dumped the bag out here. This thing is actually from Cuervo Racing. I did not get, he normally puts a business card in there. I didn't see it this time, but you can buy these from Cuervo Racing there. Daniel's a really good guy. But it's pretty simple. Comes with a pre-made wiring harness. You've got this little temperature switch, inline temperature switch. This is going to go into our upper radiator hose. So we're going to need to drain out the water a little bit, install that, plug it in. It's got some zip ties that come with it there to do it, and it's got a couple of hose clamps. So this is going to be pretty easy. We do got to pull out our relays. That can be a little tricky sometimes. Obviously, we got to drain the water, which typically been my history has been a mess. But yeah, we'll go ahead and do it. Let me get repositioned here and we'll get the install started. All right, so I've got my exhaust off for a different project here, but you gotta take your, probably can't see, you gotta take your front hood off. You wanna loosen up your radiator cap. And then we're gonna do this little drain bolt down here to drain out the water. And if you haven't, damn it, if you haven't drained your coolant in a while, this is probably a good time to replace it. I just drained this out not too long ago. It's got fresh stuff in there, so I want to do my best to try to keep it so I can reuse it. I just put it in there not too long ago, so we'll see whether or not that's even going to be possible. So we'll just loosen this up here. This normally just drains everywhere. It's been my, and we don't necessarily have to drain it all out. Doesn't have to be completely empty there. We just want to get it down below the level of our hose, but we'll drain a fair amount out because I don't know how much that's going to be. So we'll drain it down here quite a bit. All right, folks, so I got it drained, not too big of a mess. Now what we're gonna do here, I'll get repositioned, but we're gonna kind of look under here to see where we want to cut the hose. We're gonna cut our main hose and we'll get to where we can install that little fitting. So let me get reset up so you can see what's going on. Not sure here how much you're gonna be able to see this. I'm gonna stick a little bit of, but I'm gonna put mine, I think about right here. It doesn't really matter where you stick it in this line here. You just got to find a spot. But I think about right here is pretty good. We're going to need to take out a chunk of hose. So I think right here, if I put it right there, put a mark. I'm going to cut this side off right about here using this little piece of hose cutter right here. Hopefully I can just get a nice clean cut. Sorry, I probably got my elbow in the way, but that's okay. There we go. All right. Yeah, just like I thought. So I'm gonna be careful. I'm gonna take about the thickness of this thing right here, so 3/4 of an inch out of this hose. Again, it's not gonna matter. I don't want to take too much out. You gotta watch out of this thing, but we'll take a little bit off. Obviously still got a little bit of fluid sitting in here. All right, so that's that. Let me get my hose clamps. You don't want to forget to stick your hose clamps on this thing here. You'd be taking it back off. I'll just slide those on, put those on a little bit later, and we'll go ahead here and stick this in. Just like so. And we'll stick this side here in. I probably should have stuck this side in here first. Yeah. Stick this side in. The side wants to go in first. There we go. Twist that around. There we go. So that is all in. Now, how you position this thing here, it doesn't really matter. I'm gonna leave this loose. I'm probably gonna twist it to where it points this way. I'll have to kind of work with that. I don't want to point it straight down here. It's too hot, but you can have it pointed wherever you want. Maybe I'll point it up this way. That actually might be a good one. Something up there. I don't know, got the feeling it's gonna want to go backwards, but I'm gonna leave this just like it is. And then loose. And right now we need to go ahead and run our cables. So let's go ahead and I'll kind of get those routed. I'm not gonna be able to do that on film, but I gotta run our cables from here, back up that way, and I'll show you guys how that works. All right, folks, so I've got my wires ran right here. I'm kind of show you there was how I did it here in just a second, but I got them coming out right here. I had to pull my tank cover off. It's probably easier to pull your fenders off. I just try to shortcut this as much as possible. But basically, I just pulled my battery cover back, pulled this panel out here, and just kind of snaked it down through the side there and pull it out. It goes around right through here. It connects to your, one side connects to your negative battery terminal, so it goes there. And I've essentially here, I can see my finger, just run it along the factory wiring harness. And here it is right here. So I'm going to get set up here. We've got to pull these relays out here, and that'll be the last step we got to do, other than button it back up, put the radiator fluid back in, and take it off our test ride here. But yeah, this right here is my custom-made fuel controller protector. Keeps all the mud and water off it. But let me go ahead and pull these relays out here, and then I'll get reset up, and we'll go ahead and hook that wire up. All right, let's see if we can just pull these things up. Not a whole lot probably here to see, but see if we can get these off. Up and out of here. Actually, this is the one I need, and I gotta get this other one. It's not coming up. Come on up. That's not what I wanted to do right there. I accidentally pulled up my wires there, so I'll need to go ahead and reposition that. Get this one here off. Now to get some tools here real quick. All right, folks. So here, I pulled out all my wire harness here. You don't necessarily have to do this. It actually might be easier. I unclipped this big one here. You've got this one here. You can see it's got this big bundle of stuff here. This isn't the one we want to use. We want to use this little one right here. And so that could be the first one all the way at the bottom, or it could be the one at the top. I have had this apart several times, so I don't know what order they're originally in. What we want to look for here is this little yellow wire right here on the top with the red stripe. And so what we're going to do here is stick this little spade right down the side of this thing here. So probably not going to be able to see it, but if you go look down in there, you'll see the little brass spade. We're going to just stick it right down the side of that and then tape it up and put this back together here. So, well, it's not focusing very well. So let me go ahead and do that, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so you can see here I just slid this up in there, and that's all there is to there. I'm a huge fan of using dielectric grease on all my electrical stuff. Just keeps it from getting corroded. So I put a bunch of that all the way in the back side of these connectors, and when I put that in as well. But I just added a couple of zip ties, and we're going to go ahead and just you know, put this all back in, put this back down where the harness is, and then we'll double check everything. I'll go up front there, and we'll connect those ones up there and twist that little thermostat housing thing there in the right direction, and then tighten those hose clamps and be ready to fill her up. All right, so I put some more dielectric grease. I connected my two spades here. It doesn't matter which side they go on, so just put them in here. And so now I'm going to go ahead and get this position where I like it, tighten up my hose clamps here, and I think we're just about done. All right, so I've got mine positioned there. I actually kind of got it positioned, pointed upwards. I thought that was good. Added a couple of zip ties, tightened my hose clamps, and I've got it filled up there with some radiator fluid. Now here, I got to finish my other project here, and then you got to start it up. Make sure you heat cycle everything there to get the water flowing. Let it cool down, recheck your fluid, and this will be ready to go. And we'll take it out hopefully here and get a chance to check it out, see how it all works. So stay tuned for that. Okay, well, I've had a chance to test out the early on fan switch now here for 2 to 3 races. It's definitely coming on. Now before I installed this, you know, I would notice it would come on, you know, a couple times during a race, and I'm not, you know, not listening to it. I just haven't noticed it, so it's coming on a lot more than that. And so that's telling me that the temperature's getting clear to that top end to turn on the factory fan switch. So putting this one on that turns earlier means it's just going to come on a lot more often, which it is. It's going to keep the bike overall cooler. When I'm out riding it there, I can tell, even though I don't hear it, especially when I'm going in some slower stuff where there's not a lot of wind, I can actually feel the air and the heat coming off that thing, keeping the thing cool. So it's definitely working. It's been, I think, a pretty good upgrade, a pretty easy upgrade. And so again, you know, the question is, well, why would you want one of these? So the Raptors really don't get hot. And so if you're just doing, you know, normal trail riding and, you know, you haven't really done a lot of upgrades to it, you don't really necessarily need an early on fan switch unless you want to. You know, of course, wanting to make your bike, you know, last a little bit longer, making it run cooler is going to do that. That's another option why I wanted to, so maybe for you as well. But if you've really upgraded the power quite a bit, that's going to put a lot more heat in the engine. So you're going to want to, you know, have something there that's going to get rid of that heat faster. So definitely there, you know, if you're out doing, you know, you got a lot more horsepower in your bike, or you're doing extreme stuff like racing with it, maybe you're pulling sand dunes or drag racing or something like that, that's another good option where you really want your bike to run cooler. And so this early on fan switch is going to do that for you. So yeah, check this out, early on fan switch from Cuervo Racing. Works good, super simple to install. You know, it's one of those easy things you can do. It's not that expensive, and you know, it's a good upgrade. So yep, take care.